It's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
A question from NPR. She asked you about Ivanka Trump's statement that the press are not the enemy of the people. I think we deserve that.
I think the president has made his position known. I also think it's ironic.
Would you mind telling us,
I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay,
I politely waited, and I even called on you despite the fact that you interrupted me while calling on your colleague.
Well,
I said it's ironic.
Which is why I interrupted.
I'm trying.
But if you finish, if you would not mind letting me have a follow-up, that would be fine. But
It's ironic, Jim, that not only you and the media attack the president for his rhetoric when they frequently lower the level of conversation in this country. Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as I know, as far as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection. The media continues to ratchet up the verbal assault against the president and everyone in this administration, and certainly we have a role to play, but the media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well.
And sir, if you don't mind, if I may follow up, excuse me, you did not say in the course of those remarks that you just made that the press is not the enemy of the people. Are we to take it from what you just said? We all get put through the ringer. We all get put in the meat grinder in this town, and you're no exception. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. I wish that had not happened. But for the sake of this room, the people who are in this room, this democracy, this country, all the people around the world are watching what you're saying, Sarah, and the White House for the United States of America, the President of the United States should not refer to us as the enemy of the people. His own daughter acknowledges that, and all I'm asking you to do, Sarah, is to acknowledge that right now and right here.
I appreciate your passion. I share it. I've addressed this question. I've addressed my personal feelings. I'm here to speak on behalf of the president. He's made his comments clear.
Yes, and his comments are that the press is the enemy of the people, and she will not say that the press is not the enemy of the people. She goes through a long laundry list of comedians that have insulted her, a long laundry list of fringy corners of the internet that, apparently talk about her. None of this has ever been said by any serious journalist. And she's using comedy routines as a defense to not say that the president is incorrect when he repeatedly and almost daily tweets in the middle of the night now, tweets at the break of dawn, tweets and stands up at Tampa and says CNN is fake news, the media, the mainstream news, the newspapers, the Washington Post. She says the White House never makes it personal. The White House never makes it personal. You know, if somebody talked to me like back in the day, we'd punch him in the face. We'd carry him out on a stretcher, to the point where early in this campaign with an old, freaking, wrinkly old racist man sucker punched a black man who attended a Trump rally who was attempting to leave in the face. And that was the beginning of it. Corey Lewandowski then grabbed another reporter. She filed charges against him because he was, he grabbed her because he didn't like what she was reporting. And that was a friendly reporter. That was like a Breitbart reporter. Okay? Donald Trump uses pejoratives to Elizabeth Warren is Pocahontas. Marco Rubio is little Marco Rubio. Lion Ted Cruz. Lion James Comey. Crooked Hillary Clinton. It's all pejoratives. It's all personal with this president. And this thing with the enemy of the people, or people like me, or people like Acosta, or people like Tom Hamburger, or Maggie Haberman, or any of the people in that room. April Ryan is an enemy of the people. She's the threat. She's the danger. All she does is ask questions, and then Sarah, the president stands there and says, well, why don't you organize a meeting of the Congressional Black Caucus? Why don't you do? Because I'm a reporter. I don't organize meetings. I'm a reporter. I mean, just insulting her and saying, if you want black people to be represented, why don't you organize the Congressional Black Caucus, not knowing what CBC stood for. This man is poison. He is a racist. He is somebody that plays to the lowest common denominator of the tinfoil hat crowd, which, thank God, is shrinking, but is still ever present in the primary situation because these people are... they will show up for him because he tells them to. He tells them to. That was today. And also today, Ivanka was at, and this is what they were referring to. Okay, Ivanka was asked whether or not she believes that the press is an enemy of the people, and she was like, she's like Christopher Walken, I swear to God, in True Romance. Come again? Come again?
First, I have to ask you, we have a number of our colleagues here on the press. Do you think that we're the enemy of the people?
Sorry?
Do you think the media is the enemy of the people?
No, I do not.
That's not a view that's shared in your family.
Are you looking for me to elaborate?
Sure.
No, I don't.
Thank you. Now, she can continue to pretend that she doesn't work in the White House. She can continue to pretend that she's not a senior staffer to her father in the White House. And just say, sorry? And then just shrug her shoulder. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. What?
First, I have to ask you, we have a number of our colleagues here on the press. Do you think that we're the enemy of the people?
Sorry?
Do you think the media is the enemy of the people?
No, I do not.
That's not a view that's shared in your family.
Are you looking for me to elaborate?
Sure.
No, I don't.
She looks like Lisa Kudrow there. Not the real Lisa Kudrow, but the Phoebe. Right? Doesn't she? She's like, what? And then she's like, I don't know. What are you talking about? She is a senior advisor to the President of the United States, who happens to be her father. That's really, really, really close. Okay? She has said nothing about family separation. She has said nothing about this whipping up of hatred in this country, of the racial nature of her father, of the appealing to racism in this country, of the constant rewarding of the wealthiest people with our tax dollars, the transfer of wealth in an already unequal society with regard to wages being flat or declining, inflation increasing. President today, he's doubling down on his stupid trade war with China. We don't need to be in a trade war with China. I just need to draw your attention to something called TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. That was done to put a check on China and the large amount of trade China is responsible for. This was other countries in the Pacific Rim, not China included, bonding together to form a trading bloc against China. Idiot boy thinks all he has to do is put tariffs on stuff and nobody will suffer. Farmers won't suffer. Now he wants to, he did washing machines, and Whirlpool was all about it at first. Then he did his steel tariffs and they're like, oh, damn, that's not good for us. We use steel. We buy steel. Shit. Right? Now he's doing refrigerators, chemicals. The chemical manufacturers, the Chemical Council, okay, they said this is going to devastate the American economy. People are going to pay. He's doing it on clothes. He's doing it on clothes. Clothes. If you're a shopper like me in TJ Maxx, you're a shopper like me in, if you buy Ivanka Trump's brand, they were made in China. They were made in Chinese sweatshops. It's just a fact of life. Now they're going to, we'll pay more for our clothes. We'll pay more for our refrigerators. We'll pay more for our washing machines. We'll pay more. And he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it because anything Obama did has to go. And he thinks that he's the genius. He's figured it out that tariffs are the way to go. If it was the way to go, it's a simple matter to punish the American people in this manner and have a trade war, right? But it's not a simple matter. We live in a world that relies on various things coming from multiple destinations. China is the largest exporter of stuff in the world. And in order to counter them, you have to have allies, and you have to band together, and you have to be a bloc and trade with each other and develop markets in your countries without China. And that's what TPP was all about. And he tore it up. Why? Because it was Obama's. It was Obama's. Same thing today. You know what else he tore up today? Or he's thinking of tearing it up. I shouldn't say it's torn because it's not torn yet because it's going to get litigated. But today he's talking about deregulating, oh my God, the fuel efficiency standards for automobiles that Obama put in place that would cause manufacturers by 2025 to require to make cars that get 51 miles to the gallon. And he's got a public comment thing going on, and he wants the American people to weigh in on whether they're for or against fuel efficiency. Now, why would he be doing that? Well, for starters, it's Obama's. That's probably enough for him. But secondly, oil. What is Russia? It's a petrol state. What is Saudi Arabia? It's a petrol state. You know, Saudi Arabia was going to invade Qatar. Just finding that out, too. It's in the paper today, but I didn't think anybody would care. But it's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean, all of this to help his friends in freaking Russia have an economy. Because Russia is some also-ran economy smaller than California. And look, it's like in 11 time zones, and it can't freaking, get itself out of debt. So, I mean, this is all to protect his oil friends. This is all. So Americans shouldn't have cars that get 51 miles to the gallon by 2025 because he's protecting the oil market of Russia and Saudi Arabia. What did I tell you about these Middle East wars? You got to make what they have, valueless. You have to make what they have worthless. And that's what we were on our way to do. Make what they have worthless, at least to us. That's what all the fracking was about. That's what the natural gas is about. That's what everything is about, right? Making what they have worthless and then innovating our way out of needing any of it for anything. Solar power, all these attacks on the solar industry, all these attacks on fuel efficiency, all these attacks on trade. He is literally breaking your back in order to service foreign government adversaries. It's so obvious. Why else would that even come across his desk? And the Russians start selling off the treasuries to what? Send a message to him? You better freaking do this. You better make these cars, gas guzzlers, because, obviously the cradle to grave kind of welfare that these oil states have, not Russia. Russia couldn't give a rat's ass about its people. But the cradle to grave welfare that you get in, these oil-rich countries, they've already used 2/3 of their funds, and they're not able to replenish those funds. So he's doing them a favor by making us buy more gas at a higher price. I mean, this is sick. And it's so obvious. On every level, this man betrays the working people. On every level, he betrays the ordinary person who's just trying to get through it, and I am one of those. I am just trying to get through it. I live for the day I could pay off my mortgage. I live for that day to have a mortgage burning party. I'm not there yet. It's the first of the month. All these bills, they never end. Personal, now the business. I hate to tell you, there's another part of my business that isn't mine that's, going under again. And I'm having to do fundraisers for them. Because if I don't do fundraisers for them, They're not going to pay me. This is what they say. It's all so twisted and sick. We're all just trying to get through it. And he is undermining us every single step of the way. Every single step. You got farmers that are so brainwashed into thinking this is some sort of a genius plan with a strategy. That would be a first in his life. That they're saying, all right, we're very upset about the soybean. We're very upset about the tariffs. We're very upset that we have to now take welfare. Okay, we're really upset about it. We don't want welfare. We want access to markets. I know how you feel. I feel you, farmers. I want access to my market, too. Like it's called terrestrial radio or Sirius XM. Yeah, that'd be a really nice thing. That'd be the cherry on the cake of my day. But it ain't happening. So I feel you, farmers. I know you had markets all over the world, and they are going to Brazil for soybean, and they will go elsewhere for soybeans. There's no question, and you will lose that market, and he couldn't care less. He'll buy you off temporarily, and then you're on your own. Good luck to you. Everything he does, everything he freaking does. This is so sick. And he's... Listen, this whole thing about Russia, I mean, today I couldn't believe they were all standing at the podium, the entire intelligence community, Homeland Security, the DNI, the CIA, the FBI. Chris Wray was there. They were all there. Yes, we are a target. There's no question. Yeah, they're just one keystroke away. And yeah, maybe they're using it as a negotiating point with Donald Trump that they can turn off our lights, and maybe they're holding him hostage. I don't know, but, whatever it is, just we're trying to cover our asses here. Meanwhile, you can't get the president to do anything to protect us on any front. Not economically, not farmers, not working people. Wages are flat. The taxes, I mean, he got Mnuchin saying, we don't need no stinking Congress. It's like the Enabling Act has been passed in secret. We forgot to, be notified. Nobody told us. But yeah, he's saying we don't need any, congressional action to give more tax cuts to the uber wealthy. We don't. And, these idiots, they tweet at me and they go, yeah, like a poor person ever created a job? I'm like, douchebag. I was a poor person. I started a little company. That company now provides gainful employment at living wages for many, many people, both on the premises and not on the premises. We got customer service people, and we don't pay crap wages. Nobody here makes minimum wage. Everybody here gets a living wage. It is a point of pride for me. The only one that doesn't get paid anymore is me. And the few people that do pay me, out in the hinterland that have contracts with, all of a sudden we don't have any money either. We're not paying you. And now I got to do fundraisers so that I can raise funds for them so I can get paid. Oh my God. This president will not protect and defend the people of this country. He will not protect and defend the infrastructure of this country. He will not protect and defend the electric grid, the election systems. Really? $250 is what he wants. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.